like that. That's a good thing to wear into work. Will's T-shirt says "Pay my rate."
I like that.
Very attorney.
I like that.
We talked about the Charlie Kirk thing. I just don't. No matter what side you're on, I don't really think it's a great thing to joke about.
And if you can't prove that whoever it is that you're prosecuting is a member of Antifa, the fact that they have been pre-classified as a domestic terrorist group doesn't change anything.
All right. We are coming to you live from the Campione Law Studios, episode 7 of the best podcast that the radio has ever known, allegedly. We talk about all kinds of things from a standpoint of allegedly. Just facts and opinions brought to you by some of the brightest minds in the legal industry. And when I say brightest minds, I'm talking about Michael Belonga and Kirby Johnson. I try to keep up. Something I work at every day. But, you know, there's something left to be desired. All right, let's kick it off here.
Wow.
We've got a fun-filled 45 minutes to an hour packed, depending on how long we can muster after a long day's work. Where should we jump in? We've got a few things on the agenda today. I want to talk about Jimmy Kimmel. I want to talk about the Jacksonville budget vote that's going down today. I also wouldn't mind talking about Donald Trump designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. What do you say, Kirby?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Where do you want to jump?
I think those are all obviously hot topics right now, so I think we can go in really any one.
Okay.
Let's talk
Got a
about
lot of direction from you guys there.
How about this Antifa one? That sounds exciting.
Okay, let's go with Antifa.
Only because it's the one I least know about.
Yeah. So for some reason, I must have broken the algorithm on Instagram or Facebook, but they are videos of Antifa getting beat up on a regular basis that seem to come to the top of my feed. I like watching them, I guess. That's why they serve them to me. But there is something about a 300-pound it with purple and pink hair getting pepper sprayed by a police officer that makes me laugh. And a lot of this you see, it comes out of Seattle, Portland, right?
Sure.
I don't know why all the activity's up there, but
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Never
they
been.
must have
Never
a huge Antifa population. But keeping this in the realm of legal discussion, what do you think? What is the legality of designating something like Antifa a domestic terrorist organization? Kirby?
Yeah, it's a good question. I imagine there are a number of legal implications associated with this. I imagine that now any act, because they've been pre-classified as, I guess, as a terrorist organization, any act or overt act that they make, I imagine it would be easier to prosecute them, bring additional counts against them for domestic terrorism, given their pre-classification. I think I know why he's doing it. My only concern with this is it's kind of a slippery slope to pre-classify somebody or a group of people, Antifa, as domestic terrorists. How do we know if somebody is or is not part of that movement?
Well, and
how do you know?
It's an interesting point because from what I know about Antifa, is it's not a unified party with a president and a treasurer like you would think of a normal club or party.
It's an amorphous group.
It's an amorphous group with small little chapters here and there that more or less prescribe to Antifa-like beliefs, right?
Right.
But
there's no flag. There's no organizational structure.
I guess that's what my question is. What exactly? I know what Antifa is. We know it's like the anti-fascist movement or whatever.
Yeah.
But who are they?
And who classifies them as such?
Well, and we're at an interesting point because I feel like there's a juncture, right? Because yes, we're talking about Antifa now, but you could theoretically insert any extreme right-wing movement
100%
into the same discussion and be having the Same discussion, right?
100%.
Because most of these right-wing groups or militarized right-wing groups, whatever you want to call them, they're decentralized.
Some of them are. I think some of them are more centralized than Antifa. I mean, you look at the Proud Boys, you at least know who their leader was.
There's different chapters, right?
For sure.
From what I remember, the Proud Boys, there's like multiple people that kind of prescribe to be the leader of the Proud Boys.
Well, that may be the case, but what if they have been classified as a domestic terrorist group?
That's fair. But my point being, though, is like I think this is kind of the future of what these things will look like, right? You're not going to see like, the 1935 Nazi party like you saw, in New York pre-World War II, right? Where it's like, you know who these people are, you know who the leaders are, all the way down the rip, right? I think you're going to be seeing more of this. So it's like, as these groups evolve, the laws, the designations, et cetera, need to evolve as well. So it's like, I don't necessarily have a problem with the idea of calling an amorphous group a terrorist organization. But there are some serious potential pitfalls here.
Well, I think the biggest pitfall is without any sort of objective way of proving somebody is or is not a member of that group, I think it takes away any teeth to calling them a domestic terror organization anyway. Right? If you can't prove that whoever it is that you're prosecuting is a member of Antifa, the fact that they have been pre-classified as a domestic terrorist group doesn't change anything.
Yeah,
that's kind of my point. Is like I just don't understand, I guess, from an enforcement standpoint, really what can be done. Because I'll be honest, maybe I'm just ignorant on this subject, which I'm clearly am, but I can't tell who Antifa is. Like when they say these videos have Antifa, like I don't know how they know this unless like they're telling me.
Yeah, right. It's not unless they're telling you. What it is like if you see them wearing all black, right, and you see them at a left-wing rally, right, then it's Antifa. You know what I mean? It's like you would just like, yes.
Will's wearing all black.
But if he was wearing a face covering and maybe a helmet.
But he has a message on his shirt.
Yes, I like that. That's a good thing to wear into work. Will's T-shirt says "Pay my rate."
I like that.
Very attorney.
I like that. It is.
What's interesting too is Trump did it by fiat, by executive order.
Yep.
Kind of interesting as well.
Well, it's interesting, but then, I always look at it. What if the shoe was on the other foot, right? What if he had a Democratic president who wanted to declare that, Turning Point USA is a domestic terrorist group?
Yeah, well, I mean, we essentially had that in the 90s with Ruby Ridge and Waco. I mean, there was under Bill Clinton, and who was his attorney general at the time?
Oh.
Infamous attorney general.
Yeah.
Can't think of her name. You know who I'm talking about? And I don't know if they actually used we're actually designating them domestic terrorist groups, but there was a serious push at the time. So
Janet Reno?
Janet Reno. Yeah.
That's it.
So I don't think, you kind of see this play one way or another, depending on who's in office.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, this is it's a headline and clickbait, and it's political fodder. I don't really think there's any legal teeth to it, though.
I tend to agree with you, but knowing Donald Trump and knowing our wonderful Attorney General, you have to believe that there is going to be a legal push behind. I mean, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
But I think if Donald Trump has the desire, which we know he does, to put these folks behind bars, they will. And honestly, like, he gets me a little upset. Like, I was watching a video last night, and it was almost nearly positive it was in Portland, Oregon, and you had some police officers outside of a federal building. And there were these quote-unquote Antifa folks wearing all black at a left-wing rally, and they were taking fireworks, like mortar rounds, tying them together, lighting them, and throwing them into the middle of the police. Basically like a stun grenade. Wow. If you think about it, there's percussion. Mm-hmm. Like to me, like that should not be okay. Like
it sounds like a crime.
It sounds like
it's
definitely. I don't care who's doing it.
Definitely a crime,
right?
It's definitely a crime.
And I don't know if you got to call them, designate them a domestic terrorist organization to actually investigate these things and to put these people behind bars. But
Sure.
in no major city or small city or rural area should you be allowed to do that.
I agree.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree, and I think there's laws already in place that could enforce all that. I guess the curiosity I have with the Antifa thing is, besides like the enforcement of who it is and all that stuff, is I guess from a intelligence standpoint, like does it open doors to where the government can look into certain things, investigate things a little bit?
I would imagine
Broader, as long as they classify it under Antifa. I don't know. It's a interesting thing because I think it's a dangerous precedent, but it could be useful depending on how it's implemented, and as long as it's not, just politically based.
But this is interesting right here. Mr. Trump's latest push could face legal hurdles. Unlike foreign terrorist organizations, which I want to talk about in a second when it comes to the Mexican cartels. I don't know if you saw that news recently. There isn't a legal mechanism for a president to designate a domestic terrorist group. Like typically, in my experience, right, when you're hearing about a domestic terrorist group, it's because the Southern Poverty Law Center, right, calls so-and-so a terrorist organization. But they're left-leaning organizations, so typically you only have right-wing extremists and, maybe the 1960s Black Panthers on there, right? There's like a huge discrepancy between most of these third parties who they designate as domestic terrorists. I think it's it's important to note, to your point, it really doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Like other than probably, internally it's a tip in the nod to the FBI to start cracking down on this stuff.
That's what it
and
is.
It's kind of telling the general public, hey, we're going to be doing the same thing.
Sure.
Interesting to note, we were talking about kind of the origins of Antifa. The organization was first coined Antifa in 2007, according to the Congressional Research Center, and it was based in Oregon, Portland. Kind of interesting. 3 years later, the founder described Antifa as a movement or an ideology. And to your point, it's pretty amorphous. Mr. Trump's could face legal hurdles. Unlike foreign terrorist organizations, there isn't a legal mechanism to designate the terrorist group. But the administration could choose to make Antifa-related incidents a higher priority for federal law enforcement.
Right.
That makes sense.
Which I think is the play here.
Here's a direct quote at the very end. You can't prosecute an ideology.
Well,
You know what I mean? That's what we're talking about. That's kind of the thread.
well, that's true, but I think you can prosecute people with that. I don't know. I guess I agree with that sentence in a vacuum.
Yeah, it's a general statement, I think.
Yeah.
Did you see? I don't know if you guys saw, but like, let's say it's like probably 2 months ago, 2 months ago, there were some folks that were labeled as Antifa members, I think in Texas, that attacked a ICE center with AR-15s and AK-47s.
Oh, I did hear about that, actually.
I don't think they killed it. They tried to, but they ended up arresting like 8 of them.
Really?
They actually armed insurgents. But this kind of segues us into Trump's classification as of certain Mexican cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. That is incredibly interesting. I mean, there have been entire movies like Sicario. I think Sicario 2, the entire movie. Sicario 1, right, we're in a gray area. We're going to do this as a interagency mission between, CIA, FBI. That way we can go into a foreign country. Sicario 2, if you recall, is the president has designated, and there's so many movies. I mean, what was Harrison Ford, Clear and Present Danger? Mm-hmm. You remember that one?
Yeah, throwback.
I saw
It's
like
a throwback.
20 years ago.
I love Clear and Present Danger. I love Patriot Games. 2 of my favorite Harrison Ford movies. But Clear and Present Danger, if you remember at the very beginning of the movie, the president's friend is on a boat. Some drug smugglers or whatever come onto the boat and kill his family. And the president wants revenge. And his way of doing so is declaring, I think, the Colombian cartel at the time a foreign terrorist organization. Mm-hmm. It's been something kind of in our dialogue.
Lexicon.
Our lexicon.
Yeah.
For quite some time. But it's interesting.
Well, I think generally, I think it makes sense given what they're doing, right? I think the rise of fentanyl deaths in the United States, I mean, if you think about it, I know we designated Al-Qaeda, obviously, a foreign terrorist organization, and what they did on September 11th was horrendous, and it killed a tremendous number of people. but that's a drop in the bucket compared to the number of kids that have overdosed on fentanyl that have been sent here by the Mexican cartels. Right. So I think it depends on your perspective, but I think it makes a lot of sense from, the way I see it.
No, I agree with you. And I heard an interesting quote from somebody the other day. I want to say it might have been an old Charlie Kirk a dialogue from maybe a year ago or so, where he's like, you guys all want to hate the Russians, right? Everybody wants to hate the Russians, But how many of you have had family members or folks close to you that have been killed by the Russians? Very few, if any, right? How many of you have lost a family member to an opioid overdose or fentanyl overdose, right? And then you see everybody around the room like, oh my God, like that's the Mexican cartels and that's the Chinese who they're buying the products they make the fentanyl with from. Mm-hmm. Like those are the people that are literally touching your lives.
Yeah, directly impacting.
So it's like you asked me if I support that designation that gives us more force and use to go after them. I'm all for it. And it's, me personally, and this probably isn't the most politically correct thing to say, like I really don't care what Mexico says. If Mexico can control their borders, the idea that there are cartels in Mexico, right? Mexico wants to be recognized on the world stage. Like clean up your backyard, right?
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. If you know somebody that has this massive problem in their life, but then they come to you and they want to give you advice, do you take it seriously?
Right.
No, that makes sense. That's a good analogy.
I'm just saying.
It's a fair point.
I'm just saying. I don't want to get like too off course from what we were talking about, but there's a bunch that we could unpack here if we wanted to have a little bit of fun with it. And then you could kind of go into the deportation of some of these illegals into third-party countries, like El Salvador, like Kenya, right? There is this president, for what you may think, is giving us plenty of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of topics.
I do not disagree.
There's a lot of topics there, a lot of firsts.
He usually does.
But along the thread of, because we try not to go too political here, but we like to talk about, things that matter.
Sure.
And generally they're in this realm.
It's a lot going on.
You guys been keeping up with the budget showdown in Jacksonville?
Yeah, it's been all over the news a little bit. Even if you don't pay attention to that type of stuff, it's been around.
Even if you don't pay attention, I'm sure you've heard of Donna Deegan's hologram in the airport.
Yeah, the $50,000 project.
I've heard it was up to $75,000.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's
money well spent.
Well, I heard Tupac did it. I think so.
Oh yeah.
It must be good enough for the mayor.
I thought it was funny when she was originally getting pushback on it. They talked about putting it in the building department. And I'm thinking like, oh, that's a good idea. Like Donna Deegan, when you go in the building department, if you've ever been in the building department in Duval County sucks, right? But to have your wonderful mayor there telling you to take a ticket, or you can, press 4 and Donna will tell you where the sign ordinance division is, right?
Right.
That would be fun.
So I get the pushback for it, I guess, from the budget standpoint and all that, and I guess waste of funds, I guess, is what they're saying. But what is like the pros for it? What are they?
Well, that's kind of interesting, right? Now, if you take the Florida Doge Commission seriously, which this is a commission appointed by the governor, he says that the city of Jacksonville is overspending by $200 million a year. And there's an interesting thing in this article that I wanted to point out. Where are we here? It talks about how much our budget has ballooned in the last 10 years. And I find it interesting. It's like while our population has only increased. Okay, here we go. Sorting through a stack of poster board visual aids, Ingolia, which is the head of the Doge Commission, said Jacksonville's general operating fund budget had increased by nearly $692 million, or 50.28% from fiscal year 2019, while the population only increased by 56,000 people. So, I don't know. You do the math on that. It ain't good. I'm not going to do it, but it ain't good.
Yeah, I think it was, 50,
it's not proportional.
Yeah, it's not proportional. I think some of the things I read about that, because I read that article, I think talking about that was some of the pushback on it was like the time frame, because 2019 obviously till now to 2024, that's a lot of those years we had the pandemic happen, and we have had a lot of inflation, I guess, since that point. I don't know, I haven't lined up the numbers or anything, but I think that was some of the arguments about why it may be a little skewed.
Well, and we'll pull up while we're talking here, what were Rory Diamond's budget amendments? I don't know if you can find a list of them or not. Then you might be, I would imagine that's probably the argument. Under Deegan, the general fund has risen about $250 million from her first budget in 2023. It's kind of crazy. In the 8 budgets of her predecessor, Lenny Curry, the general operating fund budget grew by about $500 million, or 47.6%. So it seems like it's not a uniquely Democrat problem.
Is there like any, I guess, facts or stats on what the increase is on, I guess? Because if it's stuff like the hologram stuff, then it makes a little more sense, but if it's on...
Well, and it's like that stuff's like a drop in the bucket, but I think it's like, your direct question, I'm not sure. But I know some of the stuff he's pulling up here doesn't look like we can get it. But I know one of the amendments had to do with canceling Donna Deegan's, the mayoral office's suite at the Jaguars game. I don't know.
I don't think that should be in the budget.
I have an idea of what a suite cost at a Jaguars game. I get the argument. It's kind of like, an argument on my taxes as to why I should get a business exemption for having a home office. Like, everybody knows it's bullshit, but you can still make it, right? The argument for why Donna Deegan in the mayor's office needs a suite at the Jaguars. Well, we are the ambassadors. We need it. But do you really?
Right.
Do you really? I don't know.
Not with taxpayer dollars.
Not with taxpayer dollars. Like, to me, if you're asking people to kick up their hard-earned money, right? I tend to have a problem with that. Let me see here. I was hoping we'd find a list of what
some of the stuff I saw some of the stuff he was talking about.
The big, beautiful budget amendments. That's what he keeps talking about.
I think the problem is just some of the stuff he's suggesting, if you agreed with all of it, like it still is like a drop in the bucket of...
And I agree.
To bring the budget down.
Now, my understanding is, here we go, property tax cut, a $100 million property tax cut, which would involve an deduction of roughly 1 millage rate, which that's big. Typically, that's what they play with. For people that don't understand millage rates, we could do a whole nother podcast on it, but it's, a way that they use some obscure term to make sure people don't understand. Ban on DEI funding, a ban on taxpayer funding for diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives, a ban on funding for undocumented immigrants, even though it's contrary to Florida law at the time, but kind of a little redundant, but a ban on taxpayer funding for immigrants lacking permanent legal status, a ban on abortion funding, that's self-explanatory, elimination of boards, the elimination of all affinity boards and commissions. Yeah, it does sound like quite a drop in the bucket. Oh, look at this, budget debate and controversy. Council walkout. During a contentious meeting on September 9th, 4 council members walked out in protest of Diamond's amendments, which some described as offensive, racist, and injecting culture war issues into local government.
I did hear about they're threatening arrest people for walking out of these meetings or something.
And honestly, I don't know exactly how I feel about that, Mike. Yeah. But you're elected, you have a job, and beyond that, you're paid to be there.
Right. It is.
You are paid to be there. If you don't disagree, just shut up and be quiet.
No, I agree.
I don't know. I just kind of don't have a lot of tolerance for that. And at certain points, you need a quorum to vote. So it's I don't know if you remember a month ago when they first started talking about redoing the congressional maps in Texas. And you had all of those. There's a bunch of Democrats that literally fled the state of Texas and flew up and bunked up with the governor of Illinois to avoid being recalled so they could form a quorum and vote on the redistricting in Texas. I don't know. Did you guys see that?
No, but
I didn't see
I agree. They need to show up. This is part of their elected job. I think I agree with that part. It's just I just never heard this much controversy and in a while, I guess, in like Jacksonville.
I mean, but
politics.
I think to a certain extent, though, I think it's kind of silly. I mean, these amendments, these proposed amendments. I mean, look, at the end of the day, how do you make the people of Jacksonville's lives easier?
By cutting the millage rate by 1 point.
I agree. I do agree with that. But I also think.
Do you know what it would save on a homeowner who owns a home of that's worth about $300,000 a year?
A good chunk of money.
A little less than $400. Like that's a number that matters.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I mean, if you ask me, I'll always vote for lower property taxes. But at the end of the day, I mean, my view on government is, especially local government, is that if you're not doing something that makes your constituents' lives easier, then you're doing the wrong thing.
Agree.
Like, it's that simple to me.
And I think an important thing is like when you're reading Rory Diamond's budget amendments, right? You use the word constituent, right? Not funding things for illegal immigrants, right? You got to take care of your constituents, right?
Sure.
I don't know how much money you can actually save there or not. But when we've got a homeless problem right outside of this office in downtown,
Right.
assuming that the vast majority of those are citizens, some are veterans, et cetera, right?
Yep.
Like those are the things that kind of fly in the face of common sense.
100%.
Yeah, you got to take care of your home before you can take care of others. You know, like I think so I did just see this. So his Rory Diamond's proposal to the millage cut, it's supposed to save an estimated $13.5 million in revenue, and then I don't
cost $13.5 million in revenue.
Right, so I don't know the other stuff he proposed. I guess it would help if they gave us the totals. Like, can we reach near 200, or is this just really just you just saying some stuff?
It's,
Right.
It really is huge. Though I know a thing or two about local government and millage rates. Like, rarely, if ever, do you see them roll back the millage rate.
Right.
You might see them not raise the millage rate,
Right.
or try to hide a tax increase by saying we're not raising your taxes, but we'll raise the millage rate, setting it up for future years.
Right.
Very rarely do you see an actual rollback.
Okay.
And I mean, from somebody who pays a ton of property taxes in Duval County, it doesn't make sense how much we actually pay in property taxes here for what you actually get.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah. You guys want to say anything else about the holograms?
I don't know what it is. It's like literally a hologram.
So
I just don't get the fight for it. Like I get the fight against it, I guess.
Yeah.
If we're talking about 200 million of wasteful spending, and then this thing pops up, yeah, it does kind of piss you off a little bit. But I don't understand the benefit.
yeah, he's got it. Scroll up, Will. That right behind her. See where you see the hands?
Yeah.
It's a box that is like right before TSA. So when you come off the plane and you come, out of the gate section,
because it's already up already.
You see her
right?
talk. Yes.
Yeah.
And supposedly it can talk in like 300 languages or something, right? Donna Deegan can welcome you to Jacksonville in Vietnamese if she wanted to.
I mean, it's just silly to me.
It's silly. It's
Both
not even a
from
good
a-
hologram.
How about fill some potholes in the road instead of this? Like,
Yes.
I'm just
Well,
saying,
that's-
like,
Yes.
I mean, just from a practical perspective, who cares? I've been to the Jacksonville airport 100 times. If I saw it, I'd walk right past it.
Right.
It's of no practical benefit, and even from a political standpoint, I don't understand the play here. It's not going to gain you any votes, but it's going to let the other side beat you over the head with spending stupid money on holograms.
yeah, it's a novelty.
I mean, it
sounds like.
costs you votes and column inches, right? I mean, that's what it costs you.
It's kind of like interesting,
Silly.
like her spin or her take on it is like, you go to any major city and the first thing you hear is the mayor whether over the intercom or a picture. And I don't know about you guys, but when I go to other major cities, I could care less. I actually find it annoying when I'm sitting on that tram
Yep.
and I got some guy I don't care about, I've never heard of,
Right.
sitting there,
The Atlanta airport, you get on the tram and it's
like
your mayor. So
just because they do. I mean, it's really it's a clout thing, right?
And I'll be honest, we've all traveled, a little bit and stuff like that. Like, I don't remember anyone distinctly that I've in my memory where I can be like, oh, that's a good hologram or good whatever.
No.
Like, that's not what I care about when I'm at the airport. You want to get in, get out as quick as possible.
Could not agree with you more.
So yeah, I think this is Yeah, I agree. It's kind of dumb. But
I
was more excited about Angie Subs being moved into the airport.
No,
Than
I think I purposely get to the airport just a little earlier than I need to be, just so I can go to Angie Subs. It's like it's like a tradition.
Ritual.
Every time I go. Honestly, I like the one at the airport almost better than going to the one at the beach. It's just so convenient.
Yeah. It's nice to have there.
It's a little cleaner. I like it. I like it.
You want to put Angie Sub hologram? Go for it.
You see they're building that new terminal out there? Have you guys seen this? I mean, they're pretty far away under construction, but they're building a new gate
Yeah.
Oh, really?
at the airport. Yeah.
I just hope it stays like Jacksonville Airport. Like is one of the better airports because people
in and out.
Yeah, it's very easy to get through no matter how busy it is. I'm just hoping it doesn't change because we're talking about Atlanta, all these other places, like some of the worst airports you've ever been.
Well, this one, if you think about it, right, like the Miami airport in Atlanta, like it could take you like an hour to get from one side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like traveling through the city.
100%.
All we're adding is one more gate. We could use a few more flights out of out of
for sure.
Jacksonville.
If it helps us get around more and it doesn't cause more headache at the airport, I'm all for it.
I was thinking that, like, I couldn't imagine living in Miami. It's like, if I just want to jump on a flight to Buenos Aires or Paris, right? I could just, drive to the airport and do or Bolivia. Could jump on the plane and just do a, one-leg flight anywhere I wanted to go.
Yeah.
That's true.
I love South America. All right. Where should we move to next? We've hit Antifa.
What do we got now?
My man, or the antithesis of my man, Jimmy Kimmel. There's a little bit to unpack here. The only time I ever liked Jimmy Kimmel, I just never thought he was that funny. But when I did think he was funny, it was when he was doing the Man.
I knew you were going to say the Man Show.
The Man Show.
That's when I
like. I remember like being like a late or like a preteen, and like I'd be up late at night. And I have Spike. You remember Spike TV? Yeah. That was some raunchy stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I remember. You would stay up late, make sure your parents are hearing what you're watching. But I remember the Man Show. That was a good show.
Was it him and Adam Carolla, right?
I think so.
Adam Carolla. There you go.
I mean, that was like back when Joe Rogan was doing Fear Factor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who was that? Who was the chubby kid that was on the Man Show? That would walk around and do those pranks on people before like people were doing it all the time. He was like an older guy, but he looked like a kid.
Milanakis?
Oh, Andy Milan. Is that where he came from?
I think that's who it is.
I don't know. I know he had a show on MTV. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's where he started or not. But.
Now we got to look this up.
Oh, boy.
Fat kid
Andy.
on the Man Show. Let's see here. Oh, there he is. What's his name? Andy Milanakis.
It was then. Wow. So that's where he
But
started.
it was like before you knew him as Andy Milanakis.
Right. Before he had his own show.
Oh, this is funny. It says he was actually 22 when this was filmed.
Yeah.
But like you would think he was like 12.
Right.
That was funny. But to the topic at hand. So Jimmy was taken off the air for making insensitive and untrue comments about the motives of the shooter involving Charlie Kirk. And it's kind of interesting, like if you read up on it a little bit, there's some politics at play here, and we can talk about those a little bit, due to kind of the network takeover of ABC affiliates. But then Angelina Jolie wrote a letter and got Robert De Niro to sign on, and ABC decided to put him back on. There's a little bit more to it than that, but that's basically what happened. And now Jimmy's back on air. What do you guys think about this shit?
I see it from both sides. I don't like the joke. Like I didn't listen to the whole thing. I heard bits and pieces, and I thought it. We talked about the Charlie Kirk thing. I just don't. No matter what side you're on, I don't really think it's a great thing to joke about. I think it was pretty serious, obviously, what happened to him, and then to try to make this political and take some jabs, I just think is tasteless. But I don't know. It is tough from a legal standpoint too, like to see somebody's, just get their show pulled off the air and all that. And
well, his show has been tanking. Like I couldn't tell you the exact figure, but to me, when I first read it, I'm thinking like, this guy's been costing ABC millions of dollars a year.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
The show has not been doing all the late night shows, and they started taking some of them off. I mean, who came off the air recently?
Colbert.
Yeah.
Stephen Colbert.
The reason why is just because that's not where people are watching anymore.
Yeah, because it's at midnight and nobody really cares about what they have to say.
So to me, I'm thinking like a lawyer. I'm thinking like, there's probably some contractual clause for cause. We could take you out and probably avoid
sure there is.
You know?
I guess from the outside looking in, we get told he's being taken off because of the comments, and maybe that's what they put out there. But maybe there's a business reason to it too. But I just have a tough time when why do we care what comedians say?
Well, I think that's true. The problem I have with it is all these people up in arms saying that this is some First Amendment violation. This is not a First Amendment violation. Jimmy Kimmel has the right to say whatever he wants to, but ABC and Disney have the right to fire him if they wanted to.
Agreed.
The First Amendment protects you from the government suppressing your free speech. ABC and Disney are private corporations, not the government. They have the right to take you off the air if they choose to.
When it's funny though, the waterfall didn't start flowing. Like truly, like you had people calling for it, but there's this group called Sinclair Broadcast.
Through the affiliate groups that play on the local ABCs all across the
They
country.
own 39 affiliates, I believe.
Yeah.
And their owner was the first to come out and say, we're not going to air any of his stuff. And he actually, instead of playing Jimmy Kimmel live, they did a tribute to Charlie Kirk in that segment
In
section.
that time slot, yeah.
Which is awesome. And then
Yeah, good for
afterwards, then Disney kind of jumps on board. And in my opinion, Disney has been one of the biggest violators of crap like this for a long time. I've got an iPad for my oldest son, and my mother downloaded basically like a bunch of apps that came with the Disney platform. I'm sitting there on the couch with them. I had taken a shower. I came downstairs and I'm like, I look over at him. I said, what are you looking at on there? And it was Disney LBGQ radio.
Wow.
That was like in the 5-year-old download pack. And I was just absolutely shocked. Like that's what they would be putting out there for a 5-year-old. And then you see stuff like this and it's like just the direction Disney has gone recently. I was reading an article yesterday talking about how much fun people were having at Disney World because Disney World has been so empty this last summer, right? And there's all these theories like, why is Disney so empty, right? Like you have people saying, it's because Florida, people aren't going to Florida anymore. It's the death of tourism in Florida.
When?
Tell that to the roads.
We've had more tourists this year in Florida than we ever had before.
I believe it.
Now we've had a decrease in Canadians, but it's been made up in other avenues.
I've lived here my whole life. It's just as busy as it's ever been.
Well, not just tourists. Let's talk about people moving here. There's a new apartment complex every weekend.
100%.
Disney's down though. Like attendance in Disney's down, I think 11% year over year from last year, which is a big number.
Well,
Fun fact, I'm actually going to Disney this weekend.
It also costs you, to take a family of 4 to Disney now, you basically have to take a second mortgage out on your house to do it.
That ain't
It's
no joke.
Thousands of dollars.
What happened to that? What is it? That Florida discount we used to get back in the day? Like now that's like
It's crazy.
nothing.
Well, and another thing that kind of, you wonder if this had something at play here, but I was reading that Trump had fired, or the Supreme Court had upheld Trump's firing of the FTC commissioner.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was a commissioner, but somebody that worked for the FTC, yeah.
Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I know something about it. I saw it the other day. She was fired. She filed a lawsuit to prevent her firing. The arguments made were she's part of a different branch of the government, the legislative branch, not the executive branch, and this was basically a violation of the separation of powers. Lower courts upheld it. It got appealed up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court basically said for the time being, until they hear the case, Trump was well within his rights to fire her from the FTC, which is kind of sort of a landmark opinion, even though they haven't heard the case yet, in terms of separation of powers. So it's an interesting thing that's working itself through the courts. But
Well, and it kind of makes sense why, if you're a media company like Disney, why you might be a little bit more on edge to break a certain way on an issue like this. Do you want the FTC coming down on you? And I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm not saying this is a good thing, but if it becomes a politicized political organization, which forever they've said, it's not. We're independent, this, that, and the other. But this day and age, it's like everything is political, right? To one, is it helpful to be worried, to have media companies worried that the FTC may come down on them for not breaking the right way when it comes to banning somebody or taking somebody off the air? The libertarian in me says no.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope not. I mean, I hope that the actions of the government doesn't influence the private corporations and their decisions that they make. I think if Disney wants to say what they want to say, they have the right to say it. I think viewership should drive it, not the government.
Yes, but when you have like Donald Trump coming out and saying, quote unquote, they should have their licenses taken away, and that he's pulling the strings.
That's a bridge too far, though.
I agree.
That's a bridge too far.
I don't think I'd be happy with anybody doing that. What I would be happy with is ratings tanking, networks not happy because they're losing money, and then they take them off the air.
Right.
I can live with that. I like that.
Well, we live in a capitalist society. If they lose viewership, they're going to go off the air regardless.
Kind of going to your point with the Jimmy Kimmel thing. Like, I don't think, it's definitely not a First Amendment thing, but I don't think, I think companies should have the right to decide who they want on their air, whether in just because you say something, you might not get criminally charged for it, but you can be held accountable for what you say and what you do.
For sure. And what's interesting is this is yet to be completely played out. I misspoke. It wasn't Sinclair. It was Nexstar Media. And they have not commented yet on the post-Kimball's reinstatement. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting if they actually go back and agree to run. Because then at what point, like if you're a studio and you're making content, you're paying somebody millions of dollars, but yet your actual distributors are not running the content. Why would you keep paying them to make the content?
Right.
Well, exactly.
You can't have a $1 billion production of a podcast, which is what Kimmel would be if he had no distribution.
So they're going to put it back on
I agree.
But what are they going to, are they just going to put them back on the air and just act like nothing ever happened, I guess?
I think he made some kind of weird off statement.
Oh, is he ready back on?
I think.
Yeah, he's back on. But again, at the end of the day, viewership should drive the decisions.
Right.
Right? I mean, if Jimmy Kimmel was crushing it and having billions of views every night, they'd keep him on the air. Hell, Fox would have him on the air if he was getting that many views.
I don't know about that. That might be a bridge too far.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it depends. Put him on the counter. It depends on what he's saying. That's my point, right? Like, if he's saying what the people want to hear and they agree with, people will watch and listen. If he's not, people won't watch and listen. And I think that's what's happened.
Breaking news 58 minutes ago. Local ABC affiliate owners say they will keep Jimmy Kimmel off air despite reinstatement. Wow. Did you read the letter that Angelina Jolie orchestrated to get Jimmy Kimmel back on air?
No.
And if you want a list of actors that, you might second guess, Angelina Jolie, she organized a petition.
Oh, that's the one that 400
Hollywood elites
that are all friends with him.
That want to get Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. Well, it was interesting. They pinned that letter, then all of a sudden ABC reinstates him.
I bet her dad didn't sign it. John Voight.
John Voight.
Yeah, he did.
I love that guy. I mean, he was actually a hell of an actor too.
Speaking of John Voight, Anaconda.
Great movie.
They're bringing it back.
Are they really?
It actually looks pretty funny because it's not what you think.
I saw a great movie the other day. Wait, tell me, what is it?
So it's Jack Black, but the movie's about them bringing the movie Anaconda back.
Oh, that's
so it kind of gives you those vibes.
It's like a movie about a movie.
Well, Tropic Thunder type
vibes.
That's a hilarious
It looks
movie.
pretty good. And was it Paul Rudd's in it as well?
Paul Rudd.
So
I'm glad to see him. He's making a comment. I always thought he was hilarious.
Yeah, he's pretty good. It looks pretty funny, but yeah.
God, Enemy Estate. Speaking of John Voight, I love that movie.
Enemy Estate, good movie.
I mean, in my opinion, that's one of Will Smith's best movies. Heat. You remember him in Heat?
Yep. John Voight's been in a lot of bangers, man.
Ton. Transformers, Pride and Glory, National Treasure, Zoolander.
Yeah, National Treasure, Zoolander, yeah.
Mission Impossible, Midnight Cowboy. God, that's hilarious.
Yep.
If you're going off on the John Voight train, but
yeah.
All right.
I think he's a pretty staunch conservative.
He's huge.
Huge.
Speaking of staunch conservatives out in the public, do you remember that Clint Eastwood empty chair?
No.
No, never mind. All right.
We're getting better.
So we're coming back on the air. We just had a little dialogue about our subscribers, followers, etc. if you're out there, if you're listening and you have not subscribed, liked, followed, retweeted, whatever you may call it, please do it. It helps us make this content. It helps us get us out here every day or once a week, every one time a week. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're trying to keep it fun. So if you got anything you want us to talk about, please email us at will@campionlawpa.com. Will get your questions out. There is no such thing as a dumb question. I'm lying.
There's plenty of dumb
Bring
questions.
them questions.
Yes.
Might be good for content.
It might be fun. But we're going to keep at it. Please, if you haven't checked it out, check out our Fred Taylor podcast on the unofficial Jaguars podcast, led by Seth Studer. That was fun.
It's a good episode.
It was good. It was good. It's fun having him in the studio, getting to know him a little bit better. He's a nice guy.
Yeah,
Smart guy.
I was telling Seth, I was listening to it on the way home, and like, obviously you're not watching it. If you just listen really closely, Fred Taylor kind of sounds like happy version of Michael Jordan.
I can see that.
If you just listen, you might think it's Michael Jordan talking.
It's the kind of guy, if you meet, you can't help but to like him. You know.
Oh yeah, great guy.
He is.
Great guy.
Well, until next week, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Episode 7 of Allegedly. We'll see you next week. Signing out. Thanks, guys.
See ya.